What's going on with with the Dallas Mavericks here?
Yeah.
Mark Cuban's not happy about the new structure.
Yeah, so you guys remember a couple weeks ago, they made the announcement that they were changing over, not a couple weeks ago, before the season started, they made the announcement they're changing the NBA season because it's 72 games this year to do a play-in game, a play-in series. So last year,
fucking stupidest thing.
It's crazy.
last year when
Everybody's
they did,
in contention.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
last year when they did
The Celtics.
They need it.
last year when they did the bubble, they did this play-in game. And the way it works is the 7, 8, 9, and 10 will play in this mini tournament of sorts. And so the 7 seed will play the 8 seed, 8 seed will play the 9 seed. Whoever wins the 7, 8 game will automatically get the 7 seed. Then whoever loses the 7, 8 game will play the winner of the 9, 10 game. And whoever wins that game will go for the 8 seed.
So many numbers.
I don't hate it.
I don't hate the concept of it. I think it's fair. I think the only thing that there is to complain about last year, how they did it was, if you were the 9th seed, you had to be within 4 games to play the 8th seed. Like if you're not within that 4 games back, you're done. But this year, there's nothing like that. So you could literally be like 5, 6 games out of the 8th seed, but still have that opportunity to make the playoffs. That is what is frustrating.
I like it.
That's what I don't. If you're that far out of making the playoffs, I don't think you should have that chance. Even if it's one game, because like this team
March
could
Madness,
could
anything
suck
goes.
all year, and then they win one game, and that
You gotta win
It
2
can
games.
happen.
you have to win 2 games if you're the 9th
If
seed.
you're the 9th seed or the 8th seed, you gotta win 2 games in order to be in playoff contention.
What's
better
this
team
fucking
should
Little
win.
League? You double elimination? What's this?
Yeah.
Well, no, it's double elimination only for the worser teams.
Yeah,
So
If you're like the 8th seed or the 7th seed, and if you win the first game, then you're good.
Yeah.
You're good.
and then like it makes sense. I think it makes sense. I think it's weird for a sport like the NBA, and I feel similar with baseball, with the wild card game, the 1-game wild card game.
Yeah.
You play a full 72 game series, and for baseball, it's 162 games, just to have your season decided in 1 game. I think it's a little, it's not how the sport's supposed to be played. I mean, you play a series everywhere else. I mean, if I'm like playing all these games to just get eliminated in 2, it's a little ridiculous.
What do you mean?
You gotta
play
win.
series everywhere else?
Like,
In the playoffs?
in the playoffs, you play 7 games in order to decide if you make it or go on.
Yeah.
In baseball, you play 5 games and you play 7 games.
Yep.
So in
Winner
baseball,
go home.
I'm not a fan of the 1-game winner go home
No?
setup. No, not
I mean,
at
the
all.
difference in baseball is that all year round their series. Basketball, it's 1 game.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So we have a.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it.
Yeah. Mark
The
Cuban.
better team should win.
Let me ask you guys a question here, okay?
All right.
Not that we run the NBA,
If your season's on the line, you're the better team. You should win.
but
Fair enough.
let me ask you this. So
All
you
right.
know how Will brought up a good point about how it's a 1-game season,
Yep.
and one night you're in Philly, next minute you're in New York, next minute you're in Minnesota. How do you feel about?
Next. What?
Let Nick finish.
How do you feel about they doing it the same way they do in the MLB? As in, they do you get a weekend series in Philly, then you get a
They've been doing
weekend
that
series.
Going off what you're saying, they started doing that this year actually
Because of
because of COVID with the schedule, the traveling. They have started to do back to back. So like the Celtics, for example, back in December, January, they played the Pistons one night, had the night off the next day, and then played them again the night after. They did it against Philly too, the Knicks, I believe. So they have started to do that. I wouldn't be opposed to something like that. I think it would be a cool.
It would be less travel.
Yeah, I think it
And
makes
you
their
just-
lives easier, and I think too, like it makes it more interesting. So like,
Avoid the West Coast, East Coast trips.
yeah, exactly. So like, you play the one team, you lose to them, you have another chance to play them and figure out what went wrong the first time around. It's more strategy going into it, like the next game or two. So I wouldn't be opposed to the idea. I think the NBA is definitely going to start doing more stuff like that, at least like 2-game series or something.
Yeah, we got a quote from Mark Cuban himself here. John, I don't know if you can tell us. You got it. All right, cool. I get why the NBA is doing it, Cuban said. But if we're going to be creative because of COVID, we should go straight up 1 through 20 and let the bottom 4 play in. This is the year particularly.
Particularly,
Thank you. Wait, did you say that right? How do you say it?
Why'd you say thank you if you weren't sure you said it right?
I just want to confirm.
he's just a polite guy.
Particularly to do it since the 10 games cut from the normal 82-game schedule were in conference.
In Conference, huh?
Yeah. I mean, so if your team, like, I know we have the standing graphic queued up. We have the standing graphic available.
Oh.
You can see the standing. We have the standing graphic queued up.
I'm
We have
working
the
on
standing
it.
graphic queued
I'm
up.
working on
We have
it,
the
I'm
standing
working on
graphic.
it.
We have the
Alright,
standing graphic queued up.
fade.
Hey, there we go. So you can see the NBA standings right now.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, do we have a? Oh,
That was subtle.
We
We made it work.
Give me out there tomorrow.
Didn't Mark Cuban also want to do 1 to 16? Like, there's no conference or
hilarious.
anything. It's just the top 16
I think a lot of
seeds.
people like that idea. But
Yeah.
So going back to now we have the standing graphic queued up. Right, he cut. Yeah.
Nailed
So
it.
you have right now you have the Blazers who are the 6th seed, so they're clear. Then you have the Mavericks at the 7th seed, who are a game and a half behind.
They're like a COVID negative test.
Yeah. Then you have the Grizzlies right behind them, and the Spurs and the Warriors are the other two teams that would be the 9-10 seed right now, and the Pelicans right below them. So I mean, if you're the Mavericks, I mean, if you have to face Steph Curry in a 1-game playoff,
I wouldn't be happy
I
about
wouldn't
it.
be happy about
No.
that. If the Mavericks lose against the Grizzlies and then have to play Curry in a 1-game playoff, I mean, that's not a good shot for you to win that game.
I'm putting my money on
What's Cuban
Curry.
saying versus what it actually is? What's the difference?
Well, so Cuban is saying is that we should just go straight up 1 through 20. So what
Oh,
you were saying.
non-conference?
Yeah,
1 through
non-conference.
20.
Oh.
And so the bottom 4 teams just play in, and
That would be
That just changes everything. Like that's.
I wouldn't hate
Play
that.
the regular season.
I don't hate it, but the thing with me, like, I just keep it the way it is. And like, you look at like the history of basketball and how like things have gone about playoff series and stuff. Like, you're just changing history. You're changing how it's always been.
Yeah.
I like the way it is now. I don't think
now
that.
or in the past?
I like the way it is now with the like the
plans?
conference. Well, I'm talking more of like the conference and not the 1 to
But
16.
when you have a conference such as the Eastern Conference versus the Western
Mm-hmm.
Conference, where you have 3 good teams in the Eastern Conference, and then you have like 10 good teams in the
Right,
Western
right.
Conference.
I understand what you're
I
saying
think the
there.
issue lies in the fact that there's no parity in. There's no. In the West, it's so difficult to make that playoff spot.
Yep.
I mean, the worst team in the West right now. I mean, not the worst team. The worst team that'd be in the playoff spot with the Warriors in the 10 seed at 26 and 28.
Yeah.
I mean, they would be. I guess they would be around the same spot. Never. I take that back.
Yeah, it's.
But-
I understand what you're saying
Yeah,
though, but I don't
Like
think.
the Celtics at 29-26 were the 5 seed.
Yeah.
Would be.
Where would they
an
be?
8 seed.
Right, right.
In the
I understand what you're saying, so I don't think the solution to that is necessarily changing the playoff format. I think there's something else that the NBA needs to figure out to fix that. To evening it out, changing how players can go. I don't know how they could do it. I really don't, but I think that the solution to that isn't changing the entire playoff format. But that's just my opinion. I'm not opposed. I think it's a cool concept. I just don't think they have to do that.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, I
all.
hear you.
That's all.
Fucking hate.
And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And it's not
Ain't
that.
It'll be
It's not
interesting
that
with the play-in
broke.
games. I'm excited to see how this goes down.